Here's the shaft, and then we've got a seal and a guard.
Well, I done it now. Done it. Yes, that's what I done. After I turned the camera off yesterday, I continued bush hogging along the shore. And, yep, I hit one of those concrete blocks I was talking about earlier. And sheared the blade, this whole assembly, right off from the bottom of the gearbox. I don't think the gearbox is hurt. Looks like it has just broken this piece here, and so the section that's missing is bolted up on the gearbox. Can you see that? So I think it's just the one the one bolt to take off the bottom of that gearbox, and that broken piece will come off, and then I can pull all of this apart and take that to my welder and have him weld that up. I'm hoping it's that easy. I think the hard part is going to be taking this off of here because you can see, or maybe you can't, that bolt right there is all boogered up. That one there, not quite as bad, but I think that's going to be the worst part, is getting these bolts off of here to get it all apart. All right, well, that's not pressing me at the moment. I guess if I'm going to see the welder, I should get my little red wagon fixed as well. If you remember, last year sometime, the tire fell right off the wagon, and that's because the axle broke right there. So let me pull all of this apart so I can take it to the welder at the same time I take the bush hog parts. An update on the kittens. Last week I bought some tuna to try to feed to the friendly kitten. I saw it down in the barn where I put the combine, and tried to get it to eat some tuna. It just would not eat any. And that was the last time I saw the kittens. I've seen the mama cat around here. I just saw her this morning over in the other barn. The kittens I have not seen, so I don't know where the heck she is hiding them, but they have been well hidden now for more than a week, probably 9 or 10 days, I guess. So there's the update. No kitten videos for you.
All right, plan B. Pipe. I'm going to assume this isn't a reverse thread, but let me pull the book out. I don't want this bolt to snap off inside of that gearbox. It's like a 6-inch long bolt that goes up to here, I believe. Ha ha, now what? Oh boy. Oh boy. What I believe this is, there's a shaft coming out of the gearbox that is splined at the bottom, and so this whole housing here has a spline on it, and you can see everything coming out of here, so I imagine it's pretty darn rusty up on that spline. Alright, I'm going to spray some PB Blaster. I think if I can get it up in here, it might go down and penetrate into those splines. But I'm not really sure. I guess if need be, I could put some heat on here, but then that's going to go up to the seal, ruin the seal. Oil's coming out everywhere, and then I've probably got bigger issues. So I'm going to let that penetrate in there and see what happens. Carriage bolt, so that's going to be an issue. Okay, I can slide these out now, but once it's welded back together with the collar that's on there, I can't slide it back in, so these have got to come off. I would say that plate has a little wear to it. It's got a few battle scars on it. Okay, that's those pieces. The last piece of the puzzle is still under the bush hog. As I'm thinking about this a little bit more, I could probably have the welder come down here and weld this while it's on the bush hog. I could just flip the bush hog up on its side, and then he's standing right up looking at it. And he would probably have enough room on the back side as well. Yeah, I may call him to see if he can come down here and look at this project. You know, I'm down here beating and banging on a bush hog, and finally I said, why am I doing all this when I can call my #1 welder and he can probably make life easier for me. Okay, just got off the phone with the welder. He is going to come down and assess the situation. While I'm waiting for him to get here, I'm going to go put the front end loader on this tractor so we can pick that bush hog up and get underneath of there a whole lot easier. Okay, I think we can work on it now. So this, you can see a little better now. This needs to drive off of here. There's a shaft coming out of this gearbox down to here. That shaft is splined, which is what this slides onto. So somehow we've got to get that off. I have got parts laying everywhere. Well, you see how many drawers we have out here. So that gives you an indication of what has been going on. And we still do not have this off. So our thought process was, when the welder came down and looked at this, he says, yeah, he really needs this whole hub off of here in order to lay it flat to get it a good weld on it. So we had thought about taking the whole gearbox off, just leaving this hub on, but of course we would never get the gearbox back on here because we only have a 6 or 7 inch hole up there, and by the time you weld this bar back on here, you're not getting it back in the hole. So then we said, well, let's knock the whole shaft out of here, leave this attached to the shaft. So we've taken the gearbox apart here. That shaft will not go through there. We have no clue what the heck is holding it. So there was a bearing on the top side we've taken out, and then there's a bearing, another bearing sitting down in here, a larger bearing than what is on the top side. We've moved that shaft about a 1/2 inch down, but that's it. It won't go any further. And when I look at the parts breakdown here on this gearbox, see there's snap rings on this cross shaft, a snap ring here, and then a snap ring on this side. So that holds that cross shaft in place and holds those bearings in place. There was a nut on the top side of the vertical shaft, so we've taken that nut off, we've taken the gear off, we've taken this bearing out. So there's another bearing here on the bottom side. Here's the shaft, and then we've got a seal and a guard. Nowhere else do I see a snap ring that stops this shaft from coming all the way through. And of course, because that hub is rusted onto the shaft, we can't shove the shaft through the top because we can't get the hub off of there. So I've got to do a little more research and kind of figure this thing out, because I'm baffled here, and the welder is as well. We've beaten, banged, and looked and cussed and turned the light on and turned the light off to look and scratch our heads and scratch our balls and everything else, and we just don't know. I don't know. So I think I'm going to end up sacrificing the seal on the bottom, heating that hub up in order to shove it off of this shaft. I don't, at this point, I don't know of any other way. So that's where I'm at now, is heating that hub. So heating this here and putting enough heat on it, which is going to take a lot of heat to break that rust free from that shaft in order to get this out. And of course, when we do that, we're going to sacrifice that seal up there. But yeah, I guess there's another bearing on this up in here somewhere. All right, well, hey, it's starting to rain. That's good. We do have a chance of rain today. I guess it's almost 5 o'clock. So I guess I'm gonna clean up my mess here. I'll pull this bush hog outside because I don't think I have enough, I may have enough room. I may be able to set it down in so I can close the door, but okay, let me clean my mess up here, put my tools away. And I've got to do some research on this and figure out how to pull that out of there. Maybe there's a video online that I can find and see someone else do it. All right, that's all we got from here. It's Friday evening. I don't know if it's date night. I haven't decided if I'm taking my wife out, but I'm going to have a drink regardless. So I'm going to say... Okay, I just couldn't leave it alone. Set the bush hog down, backed away so I could close the door. And I was over here looking at this thing, and I said, you know, let me beat on it one more time. So 3 more hits, because now I was down here solid rather than up at an angle like we were doing earlier. 3 hits, and it dropped right out of there. Well, now, of course, all the oil came out. So I've got to hook back on here and throw some kitty litter under there and get that shaft so I can take it up to the welder in the morning. So yeah, I won't lose any sleep tonight because I know I was going to toss and turn in bed all night long trying to figure out what we were doing wrong and how to get this out of here. But three more good hits from this angle, boom, right out of there it went. So okay, it's not quite adult beverage time yet. Let me hook back on here and clean this mess up. Okay, so now this is the last time for this video, I swear. I'm going to say, I'm much happier now to smile on my face. I will say, see ya.